Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to our live. It is Sunday night, 7 o'clock. Scott, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Survived
Excellent.
the week.
Yeah.
Survived the week.
Crazy week. Crazy week. Lots going on to talk about. Guys, if you're just joining us on the live, thank you for joining us tonight. If you have questions or comments that you'd like to uh, put in the comments below anytime during our conversation tonight, and we'll be sure to answer them or make you part of the conversation. So, COVID-19, man. Full pandemic here in the United States. What's going on there in Connecticut, Scott?
Same old thing. I think tonight we go on a lockdown, 72-hour lockdown, which all non-essentials stay home. Grocery stores, gas stations, pharmacies, doctors. That's the only place you can actually go.
Right.
Other than that, you're pretty much locked down. All essentials will be going to work tomorrow.
Yep.
And everybody else gets to stay home.
That means you'll be going to work.
No,
tomorrow.
I'm essential.
You're essential, right? So you're going to work tomorrow.
I am. Yeah.
Guys, I know that there's a lot going on around the country. I'm not sure where you're watching from. Feel free to put them in the comments below. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. But there's a lot to talk about. And one of the big concerns that we have, I jumped on, did a live earlier in the week talking about social unrest, civil unrest, right? And we're seeing some of that start to happen a little bit, especially out on the West Coast in California. And we actually pulled a couple of clips off of some social media feeds of people looting. So they have a no arrest rule in place in San Francisco, meaning that if you commit a low-level crime, that you won't be arrested for it. So people have actually started going out and looting. So let's take a look at this clip here, guys, of
Please leave the store. 你没同我講，我911。Oh my God! Call the police! Sorry.
Yes, we need a police officer. Major robbery at Walgreens, 1630 Ocean Avenue.
Yeah, they're friendly.
Francisco.
Pieces of shit. Hope you overdose. Piece of shit.
Right.
Can't get involved. It's horrible.
Yeah. And
So what they usually do, obviously they're not too worried about food and everything else. They're stealing makeup.
Right.
So what they'll do is like in New Haven, like the flea market or flea markets around. They steal the stuff and they just bring it there
and sell it in the flea markets.
They sell it, yeah.
Right.
Make $10 off or whatever, $20.
Right. Well, we also have the issue with ammunition being scarce right now, right? I know I had a friend of ours reach out to us yesterday and saying that he was at a gun shop in Connecticut and there was about 100 people in line ahead of him to get into the store and to get ammunition. And when he got in, wasn't able to get what he needed from there as well. And I know that we're getting lots of emails from clients looking for ammunition and where to find it and locate it, and it's starting to get really scarce. Why do you think that is? I think people are starting to realize that with the police and the response times and everything that's happening, that it's going to be important to keep yourself armed and be able to defend yourself and your family, right?
Right.
It's
stock it up because they want to protect themselves, protect their houses,
right?
Protect what they have.
Yeah.
Just like during the hurricane when everybody lost power, you put these generators out there and people are coming by and stealing them. They're starting lawnmowers and they're putting lawnmowers in the backyard, so you don't even know. You don't even know the difference till tomorrow, the next day, when the stuff is gone.
Right.
Hopefully it doesn't get to that point.
Right.
But we saw it when we were struggling in Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
That these lowlifes will do this kind of stuff.
Right.
So I mean, you have to be prepared for it.
Absolutely.
You know,
You know the
it's frustrating.
Oh, it is. It's extremely frustrating, and to know that someone was on your property and taking stuff out of your vehicles or out of the back of your house is kind of unnerving as well, right? Knowing that that criminal is right behind your house by your bedroom or your kids' bedrooms. Is a scary thought. And I know all of us have been victims of crime. I've had my cars broken into right in my driveway. I've got video footage while I was getting ready to go to sleep of someone trying to get into my vehicle in my driveway. You've had incidents on your property. Mike's had incidents on his property. So no one is invisible to this, or it could happen to anyone at any time. So I think it's important to be well aware of the laws in your state, what you're able to do to defend yourself, and also if you are armed, having that training to be able to know when to pull that weapon and how to properly use it. One thing I did talk about a little bit earlier in the week, and I want to bring it up now, Scott, is these line of weapons right here, right? So the T4E line of weapon. If you don't own a firearm and you're not sure if you really want to have a firearm inside of your home, there's these T4E line of weapons, right? What these are, they are made for training for law enforcement. They're to replace simunition rounds. Scott, you want to tell them a little bit about what a simunition round actually is? And while you do that, I'm going to grab the ammunition to show them.
Simunition is it's a law enforcement round. It's pretty comparable to like a live round. It has a shell casing and a little plastic tip of paint. It goes into a replica Glock that fires. It fires like a real gun. It hits the primer, fires the projectile out, ejects like a real gun, and everything else. So same blowback, same everything else.
Now, this is used for force-on-force training, right?
Unfortunately, they're almost, force on force, stuff like that, active shooter, carjacking, stuff like that.
So it's used for people to get hit.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So people have to understand that the round is meant for training purposes and for you to have pain feedback and being able to work through that pain. Right. So these simunition rounds are made for you in a stressful situation to actually get hit with the round and being able to not have a lethal hit. Obviously, it's going to leave a mark, but to have you be able to work through that stress and through that pain and continue to operate and do what you need to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. But unfortunately, that round's almost $1 a round.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of PDs don't have a lot of money, so that's almost $1 every time you pull the trigger. It's almost $1.
Right.
Where these rounds from the T4E line of weapons are what, 9 cents a round?
Yeah.
10 cents a round, maybe.
500 rounds, about $45.
And what's good about it is you got a multitude of different type of rounds for different type of training. If you're in a building with windows, you can use a rubber ball. The rubber ball is not going to break windows. It's not going to leave marks, and you just pick up the little balls at the end.
Right.
You can also use the same thing as Sims with the marking round, the paint round. It's almost like a little paintball.
Right.
So we always have that one guy who's like, "Oh, you never hit me. You never hit me." But there you go. You got markings. You got paint all over your back, or you can hit him with a marking round.
Right.
He's not going to see it until you hit him with a black light or whatever they use. But there's a majority. There's all different types of rounds.
So here's the round.
43 millimeter. Yeah.
43.
That feels good.
Oh yeah. 43 caliber round. You're going to feel that when it hits you.
That's the tactics persuader. That's to let you know your tactics aren't that good,
And don't forget about the pepper ball rounds that you can get now for these as well, right? So if you're concerned about having a firearm in your home or you don't have access to a firearm, these are readily available right now where you can order them through us and get them through our supplier in Connecticut, or we can even ship them out to you, where you can purchase this along with a bag of 500 rounds of this ammunition and a bunch of CO2 cartridges for inside of these T4E line of weapons, and it only costs you a couple $100, but you have something to protect your house and your home. I mean, if someone walks in your door and you're hitting them with these, they're not going to guess of whether or not it's a rubber ball or what's being shot. They're just going to hear that thing popping off and know that they felt something hit them and probably aggress out of the home, right? That's the goal.
Yeah, most likely.
Right.
Most likely. And it sets you up. It sets you up for another plan.
Yeah.
Say you hit him, he falls down. Now you can go on to your next plan, whatever your next plan is.
Right.
Get on the phone.
The rounds come in a bag of 500, so 500 rounds per bag, and the cost of the bag is about $45. So to me, extremely cost effective, and you could train with this. You could train with this in your home. You could train with it in your backyard, and it has pretty good accuracy up to what we're at, about 50, 60 feet. So depending on the wind and where you are, inside you could probably get 70 feet. Outside you're probably more like 50 or 60. But primarily using this for home defense inside of your home, this could be extremely effective, right?
Right,
Yep.
right. And it's also too, if you're thinking about buying a handgun or something like that, you can buy one of these and train in your house.
Yeah.
Set up a little shooting gallery downstairs, work on your aim, work on your stance, work on your trigger press.
Right.
It feels just like a real handgun. It's as heavy as a real handgun. It's a blowback as a real handgun.
Yeah.
You can magazine exchange.
Right.
And you can see where you're hitting.
Right.
So it's just like shooting a real gun, but obviously it's not a real gun. So there's a lot of good learning advantage with this.
Now this here doesn't. It has a couple of options. You can get the top in a tan or an OD green. I think a tan as well, or black. So you get black on black. This is blue because it's what we use for our law enforcement training and signify that it is a training weapon. And there's more options than just this PPQ. So if you're used to carrying a certain firearm like a Smith & Wesson, they make a Smith & Wesson PPQ option as well that you would be able to put inside of your holster, and it fits exactly like your Smith & Wesson, right? So. But the key to having a different color coding is knowing if you are using it as a training weapon and not your primary self-defense weapon, that you can know which is your training and which is your real. If you don't have any other weapons in the house, then I guess it wouldn't really matter if you just did the black on black, right? The cartridges here, you're looking at a little over $1 per CO2, and you can actually get a box of 50 of these for a pretty good price as well. So you're not looking at a huge amount of money. This PPQ here, you're looking at about $200, $225 when you purchase it. So you're looking at $225 for this. Rounds of ammo, another 50. So you're at $275. Some CO2 cartridges. So under $300, you've got a nice little setup for home defense. And not to mention, they also make a shotgun option as well. And we have a security team out of New Haven that we do training with that has that setup with the shotgun. And what we can do is in a minute or two, I'll see if I can grab one of those photos so I can bring it up for you. You can see what that looks like. It's also on our Facebook feed going back about a month or so as well. They also have a Glock clone for the T4E line of weapon as well that will fit inside of the holster. If you don't have a holster for this, you can pick one up online, or I highly recommend getting a nice custom Kydex holster, and you would want to get that from Kydex Holster Solutions. Nice little plug for you there, David. That he would customize something for you, make it inside, outside the waistband, wear with a belt, not with a belt. Maybe you're a female and you wear yoga pants and you want something that fits inside the yoga pants that's not going to move around too much. He can customize something for you, make it for you, and ship it directly to your home. Something else to bring into mind here, though, is where you live in the United States, because I know we have a lot of clients that watch us from different areas of the country, that you have to check the laws of if you can own this airsoft pistol and if you can use this for home defense, because we've been reading a lot of laws now where anything that's a projectile comes out of the front of the gun is actually considered illegal, and if it's in your vehicle or it's outside of your home and you're traveling with it, it can also be considered a weapon inside of your vehicle, which could be a charge as well. So you want to be aware of that and check your local municipality and the laws for your state if you're thinking about purchasing one of these weapons, to make sure you're being lawful, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that we use these weapons all the time for force-on-force training. I've been hit with them. Scott's been hit with them. Mike's been hit with them a lot, and they leave a mark. But it's a great tool and a resource to have. And I guess the point to that is that when you get hit with these, you're going to think that you got hit probably with a real round, and you're just going to try to aggress and get the heck out of there. The great thing about the shotgun option is a little bit less accuracy needed, I guess, is what I would say. If you're holding onto a firearm and you're aiming it at that front door, and you haven't trained with a firearm that much, a shotgun might be a better option. Which brings me to the next conversation and questions I've been receiving over the past week of what is the better option to have between a handgun or a shotgun for home defense, and what rounds to use. So let's talk about that a little bit. Scott, I'll let you go first. Tell me what would be your vote between a shotgun for home defense or a handgun for home defense, and let's take the tactic first that the person hasn't done much firearm training. What would be your choice?
Well, obviously the shotgun's it's a very simple tool to use. You just pretty much aim and pull the trigger. But then again, you got to look at what do you plan on doing with this? Do you want to blow the guy into next week? Do you want to scare him out? I mean, what exactly are you trying to do? Handgun is, I like the handgun, probably like a smaller caliber. So in the event you miss, because most likely you're going to be shooting in a low light situation.
Under stress.
Right, under stress. So a shotgun will be good. You can get like a bird shot.
Yeah.
Instead of shooting those 9mm pellets through your wall and through your through the wall and then some.
Yeah.
So you can do that. I said a shotgun because you hear that thing rack in the middle of the night. It's probably going to change somebody's mind.
Yeah.
So just that alone, you're probably going to get the response you're looking for.
Absolutely.
You rack that thing in the middle of the night, that person's out of here. He's not going to stick around to see what's around that corner.
There's a universal sound, smart. Right? Of that sound of that rack of that shotgun.
That's something you'll never forget.
And it's,
so I'd probably go.
It's international. It doesn't matter what language you speak.
No, you're right.
You hear that rack.
Yeah. So probably a shotgun with like a bird shot round, something that's not going to cause too much damage.
Yeah. I think shotgun as well, especially if you haven't done much training, or maybe you have you carry and maybe your wife doesn't, or maybe you carry and your husband doesn't carry and he doesn't use a firearm that much. A shotgun could be a great option as a line of defense inside of your home. The key, though, is that it's going to be hard for you right now to get any options for training and being able to get out to the range so that you can see what the spray is like. But every birdshot or double buck round that you purchase is going to have a different spray. And what that means is that there's basically, in like a double buck round, there are 9mm rounds inside of there, little lead pellets, right? And as you pull that trigger and that leaves the front of the muzzle, it's going to start to spread out. That's why your error of margin is different than if you were to use a handgun. So with that spray, if you have someone standing 10 feet away from you and the spray ends up being 2 feet wide, that means you're going to get more of a hit on that person with those multiple rounds in that distance. If the person is 15 or 20 feet away, as it travels further, it will start to spread wider. So a federal double buck round at 10 feet might have a 1.5 foot wide spray, whereas a Winchester round might have a 1.75 foot. And you're saying, well, why does that really matter in home defense? Well, it could matter if you're shooting down a hallway and you have bedrooms on either side. If you're shooting from a bedroom through a doorway and you know that there is another bedroom on the opposite side of the room, knowing your angles of where you're going to take that shot. Now, I've always taught to get down low on the ground, especially for my daughter. When she was younger, and if she ever needed to access a weapon for self-defense, and telling her how to get to the corner of the room, get down on the ground, put the butt stock of the shotgun into the wall in the corner, and aim that round diagonally upward. So we lived, the bedrooms were on the top floor, and there was an attic above us. So there wasn't going to be anything in the attic that I was going to be concerned about being penetrated. And taught her to be able to aim that to the top 3/4 of the door. And if someone was coming down the hallway and that door was to open, she was going to hit that trigger, rack another round. And anything that was coming in that doorway, she knew was going to cover the width of that door. And the way we checked that out was brought her to the range and actually tested different rounds and the distance and found what the proper width was and what the proper ammo was for that type of self-defense tactic. If you guys are watching this now and you have a home defense option that you have at home between handgun, tell us what make or model it is, or tell us if you prefer shotgun, or maybe you have something else in mind and you would like to enter the conversation. Let us know. We'd love to hear about it. So being able to get that training time is extremely important, but right now you're not necessarily going to have that. So I think a shotgun is a great option, not only for the sound that it's going to make when you rack it, to the accuracy that you're going to have with it under a stressful situation, especially if you haven't done any training, is a win-win. I think that's a great option if you could even get your hands on one right now. I know a few people have contacted me from Connecticut and went to Cabela's and you couldn't get anything. You could get the ammo though, but the shotgun itself was hard to find. How about you, Scott?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. You bring up a good point about the whole knowing where you're shooting. You can't just shoot your shotgun aimlessly down the hallway if you think there's someone down there.
Yeah.
You can't shoot when there's a picture window at the end of the hallway. You can't just blow that window out and, oh, well, I guess I missed the guy. Oh, well, you got to be accountable for where those rounds are going.
Yeah.
So if you're shooting in your house through the window and you have your neighbor's house is right next door, and you can't just be blowing things off and say, well, I had a bad guy in the house, so I blew the trigger, so I blew the shotgun off. So you can't.
You're still responsible for that round, right?
You really, and that's a lot of times people don't really understand that,
right?
And they just think, well, you come in my house, I'm just going to blow you away.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little deeper than that,
Yep.
So that's like one of the number one rules is know your backstop.
Right.
If you're shooting your gun and like my hallway goes to the hallway to the garage, I think I'd be good if I would have missed, going to the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to go any farther than the outside wall of the garage. So that's my backstop.
Right.
That'd be my backstop. So I would be pretty safe in pulling the trigger.
Right.
So.
Hey, I want to say hello to Michelle. Michelle's watching. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Michelle.
David, great to see you online. Thanks for joining us tonight. Michael, making lots of comments. Yes, I know you got hit a couple of times with the PPQ. So let's talk about rounds because that's the next big question that I've had, and people calling me saying, "Hey, I bought 500 ball rounds for self-defense," and the big concern, as we're talking about with the shotgun, is where are those rounds going to go. So, Scott, why don't you enlighten people a little bit that maybe are not knowledgeable of how far can a ball round travel coming out of a 9mm gun? And how fast does that round come out?
Well, I have a 9mm. It's probably it's probably high nines, 900 feet per second. A 45 would be about 800 feet per second.
Yep.
And that thing will go. That's going to go for a while. I don't know off the top of my head exactly, but it's going to go.
Got it.
So the heavier the bullet, obviously, the farther it's going to go.
Right.
So.
It can travel pretty far. So the point of what?
Yeah.
The point of this is making sure it's defensive round, right? Ball rounds shouldn't necessarily be used for self-defense. Maybe in a zombie apocalypse where there aren't too many more humans and there's zombies walking around. But the reality is that you want to use a defensive round, and a defensive round is made for like a hollow point that once it hits into the body, it's going to start to spread open and mushroom, and it's going to not have penetration through that body cavity. Now, different rounds, just like the shotgun rounds, have different penetration. So there's some websites out there you can figure out what that penetration round is and how far it actually goes through. But that's what you want is defensive rounds, so that when it hits that subject, that it's going to stop and not hopefully penetrate, or if it does penetrate, it's going to drop off right afterwards and not continue to travel through the rest of the environment that you're in, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's why with those rounds, a lot of times you'll see if it does go through, you'll see an input of this, and where it exits a lot bigger. That's because when the bullet goes in, it goes in small and it opens up while it's going through. If it does, say it goes through your abdomen or something, so a small part of your body where it'll go through.
Right.
It'll go in small and come out big. That's where you get that big hole, the exit wound.
Right.
Is when the thing's already floured and it's moving. The ball round is just going to hit and it's just going to fold up and just pretty much stop where it's going to be. So,
make
sure you grab the proper rounds for your home defense. Like I said, like Jamie said, hollow point's good.
The
ball round is for practice.
Exactly. The ball round is for training, and if you end up buying a lot of these rounds, and you've got 500 rounds of ball rounds sitting around now, well, guess what? You got some good rounds to bring up to the T4 Survival Camp and do some training with us, right? Or take out to the range.
And you can learn your low light shooting, and in case you want to use your handgun for some home defense.
Right, absolutely. Which brings us to a lot of questions about the T4 Survival Camp and if it's been canceled now and so forth. And as of right now, it's not canceled because we only allow a group of 10 anyway for the training. So we're still following under the CDC guidelines. We're outside training most of the time. So at this point, we're not planning on canceling. I know we've been getting some calls of people interested in attending the camp. So if you are interested in traveling up and attending, go to our website, send us a chat request, or message us, and we'll get you some more information on the T4 Survival Camp coming up in May at the beautiful Birches Resort up here in Rockwood, Maine. Jeff, how are you? So Jeff says 45 caliber hollow point for home protection is his choice, right? Good choice, Jeff. I know Jeff does a lot of training with us, so he's a pretty accurate shot and be able to know where those rounds are going to be going. Absolutely. So that also brings us to March 28th. We had our mega seminar day planned at TPA Milsim in North Brantford, and we are going to need to postpone the dates for that event. So if you are on live with us now, there's your official announcement. If you're not on with us, then there's going to be an email going out that will get to all of those other people that signed up for the seminars on March 28th. But what we are planning on doing in its place is offering some live webinars where you'll be able to interact with us and go over some various topics. And those topics would be using a firearm for self-defense, question and answer session with us. Then we would do another webinar later in the day that would cover home invasion. So looking at right now 2, we're tossing around a third option as well, but we're not sure, but possibly 2 for March 28th. So keep an eye out on your emails and on social media for what we officially announced. We should have that figured out in the next 24 to 48 hours. Scott, anything you want to add up about the seminars?
No, unfortunately, that's just the path we're going to have to take for now and just postpone it. But hopefully it'll be nice, beautiful weather for May, and hopefully we get that to go.
Yep.
So that's it.
We will get them rescheduled. Something else to keep in mind, I know that a lot of you are going a little stir crazy with not being able to train, is that we could do private training sessions with you. We can go out to the range in Connecticut. We can go out to the range out here in Maine. So if you're looking to get some range time in, and we had talked about not having access to do much shooting right now, but you have access to us, and we can give you access to a range to be able to get some practice time in. So if you're interested in booking some private training sessions with us, you can certainly message us or go to our website. Also, for all my clients in Connecticut and up here in Maine and around the country that are private clients, I'm teaching classes 3 times a week online, and they're live and interactive. So I have a few people that are in front of you in the class that I'm actually instructing to, and at home you're training along with them and with us. And during the class you can ask questions and interact with me, or you can save the questions toward the end and you can ask us questions toward the end and we'll be able to answer those questions. So it's a great way that if you want to get into Krav Maga training and you don't have access to the training center during this period of time because we were under state mandate that we had to close down, this is a great opportunity for you to be able to train at home. Now, if you decide you're going to train at home, I would highly suggest that you get your workout clothes on. You grab your training gear, put it next to you. If you've been training with us for a while, you probably have hand wraps, boxing gloves. Put them next to you, and while we're doing some of the punching drills and combative drills, you can put your gloves on and you have your hand wraps on. So it puts you more into the style of actually being part of the workout. If you're kind of sitting there in your PJs, log on, and then think that you're actually going to get up and be motivated, if you're in that lazy type of mindset, usually doesn't work very well. So, and also if you're working from home, I've always found a good mindset is get dressed for work and then start to work from home. Don't just try to work in your PJs or your sweatpants if that's not your usual attire, because the mindset isn't there. That switch hasn't gone off. So if you're going to join us for the workouts, please get your workout gear on, get your gear next to you, and come online for a great class. The feedback from the class has been outstanding. I put little challenges between the people that are in front of me and the people at home to try to make you guys work a little harder and a little faster, and I've had some great feedback on that as well. If you haven't got an email from us or a link about the Krav Maga classes, please message me or send me an email, and I'll get that over to you. If you're not a member of our training center or you're not a client of ours and you're watching this live stream and you'd like access to those classes, send us a message. We do have some packages available for you to be able to gain access to Krav Maga training during this time period and being able to participate in our classes online as well. So please make sure you take advantage of that. If you guys are watching this live stream right now and you've been on the workouts and you've seen some of the workouts, you want to make a comment on it, feel free to put them on the comments below. Love to hear what you guys thought about the classes online. I know I'm enjoying them, having a lot of fun, and it seems like you guys are getting a lot out of them as well. So Scott, any end in sight that you're seeing down in Connecticut for getting things back on track with businesses opening and schools coming back in?
Not from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think tonight we had a meeting Friday. I guess tonight starts a 72-hour ban with all non-essentials that stay home. Whether they're going to expand that or not, I don't know. But I haven't heard anything good.
Right.
Nothing positive, uplifting.
Yeah.
It's all don't expect to go back to school this year. Kids are probably not going to go back to school. Businesses are going to be closed for a little while.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to get back to my life and keep.
I think we all do.
I think we all want to just get back to our lives.
Yeah. Something I know the remote learning is a big thing that I'm hearing both up here and I know in Connecticut and teachers are scrambling trying to figure this all out and how they're going to do this distance learning and remote learning. Some are going to be online for a few hours a day. Some are just going to be Google Classroom and putting up assignments, having the kids complete the assignments. So it's a lot of legwork for everyone involved. So God bless to everyone that's going through things right now. It's going to be a rough road, but we'll all get through it. As long as we stick together, we communicate with each other, we'll come through on the other side, right? Thank you to all the first responders, Scott, Mike, all my other guys, and you guys are on the front lines. You don't get any time to isolate yourselves, so we appreciate everything that you do, and we appreciate your service. Thank you for everything you do, Scott. It's greatly appreciated. Right?
Thank you. I want to thank all the healthcare staff.
Yeah.
All the nurses, all the doctors working around the clock.
Yeah.
You're working with days off. You're working, constantly around the clock.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we all appreciate that.
100%.
So you guys are doing great work. Keep it up.
Yep.
Just keep fighting the fight, and we'll, like you said, we'll get through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I appreciate you joining us live tonight. Scott, is there anything else you want to add on before we finish up?
I think that's it. Just another big, great thank you to all the doctors and the nurses and all those. Just keep fighting the fight. That's really it.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your head up. Stay positive. Make sure you're eating healthy. Right. Make sure you're making good, wise food choices. Make sure that you are staying fit. Jump into our class. Get to work out a few times a week so that you can keep your body in tip-top shape, because all this is going to make a big difference in being able to fight a virus and being able to get through to the other side. Right.
Right.
Let's see. Michelle put in a comment here. Great to keep as normal of a schedule as possible. Keep training. The online classes are fun. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing them as well, getting a lot of great positive feedback. And you're absolutely right, trying to keep a normal schedule as much as possible. I think it's going to keep everybody a little bit more focused in getting through this. So, guys, make sure you're eating healthy. Make sure you're making good, wise decisions. Keep a calm, cool head. I think over the next couple of days, maybe even a week or so, there might be a little social unrest. There might be people a little bit on edge, and making sure that you're keeping a level head and being aware of your surroundings at all times is going to be extremely important. We saw the looting, the videos we played earlier on when we got online of people looting in San Francisco. I haven't heard anything about that happening anywhere here in New England, but just be aware of it, right? And be aware of your surroundings and where you're going, and keep yourself safe as much as possible. If you are a pistol carrier and you have your pistol permit, I highly suggest you have your weapon on you at all times. You obviously need to keep one in the chamber. We have this conversation all the time. If you train with us, I'm sure you are carrying one in the chamber. Carrying your extra mags. I would have at least 2 extra mags with you. A tourniquet, rubber gloves are extremely important.
Flashlight.
Yeah, a flashlight as well is extremely important. If you have questions on some of these items, you can message us as well, and we'll give you suggestions of things to get and what to put on your weapon or to carry on you for a flashlight that's small enough but be able to get the job done. Scott, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, just keep your doors locked. Make sure every window in your house is locked. If you have a basement, make sure those doors are locked.
Right.
If you have a basement slider, make sure that's locked.
Yeah.
Put a piece of 2x4 or a 2x2 on the bottom rail.
Right.
So there's no way they're getting in. Just the little things,
Yeah.
Like I said, hopefully it's not going to come to this point, but it's just the little things that you may overlook. Like it was nice the other day, you opened the windows in the basement and you just shut them.
Right.
You forgot to lock them. Just make sure everything's locked. Bilco doors, make sure the Bilco doors are locked. The door from the Bilco doors entering the house, make sure that's locked. Just the simple things. Start there.
You bring up a good point, too, because let's make mention that the car thefts and the robberies of vehicles hasn't stopped during any of this at all, right? It's still going on strong. So you have someone that is inside your vehicle or robbing things from in the neighborhood, and they just happen to find your door open, or they just happen to find your window open, and it could be just a crime of opportunity. So make sure you're being safe and you're making wise decisions when keeping things locked. That's great, Scott. Appreciate you mentioning all of that. Right. The other thing is to keep in mind is that dogs, right? If a dog's barking in the middle of the night, or a lot of us are home during the day, is be responsive to that. I know everyone likes to yell, stop barking, just be quiet. But it could be something. So paying attention, being aware, checking the exterior of your house when you hear that dog barking is extremely important. If you have an alarm system in your home, a lot of alarms have the stay and away feature. Put the alarm on to arm the exterior perimeter of your house, meaning all the doors, but the motion sensors aren't armed, while you're already in your home. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you have a criminal that walks up to the door and they see your alarm panel and they see that little red light on, and believe me, they see that little red light on, they're going to realize that the alarm is armed, right? And that might be a deterrent because they're going to want something easy. They're not going to want to have to go through the stress of opening the door, the alarm going off, asking you to disarm the alarm, and so forth. So just being smart, taking advantage of the tools and things you have around you are extremely important. Michelle also says, thank you, Scott and Mike. Stay safe. Sending positive thoughts your way. Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate that. You know what we didn't bring up today is our tactical item, right? So let's bring that up before we finish off, guys. Check out this item for our tactical item today. Found this online.
Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about it. Would you buy this?
Oh, Scott, what the heck is that?
I think it's a sickle. So in case you want to cut like corn down or hay, you can target practice and cut hay down, I guess.
My gosh.
I don't know. I have no idea what that thing is for.
Why would you even add that attachment on? Let us know what you think that might be for. If you're watching this live stream, interested in what you guys think you would actually use that for. Now, am I under the assumption that thing folds up and goes in front of the muzzle?
I don't know.
I don't know. I couldn't find that information when I saw it online.
Huh. That looks like it's like a close quarter combat slicer,
right?
Or something. Well, you probably could like cut like carrots and celery. So if you want to shoot and make a salad, that's always good. You could do that probably.
There you go. I think we found a good.
Just keep your finger off the trigger when you're cutting the carrots and stuff. All set.
Oh, Kathleen.
Trigger discipline.
Kathleen says ice scraper.
Trigger discipline.
Kathleen says an ice scraper. Yeah, imagine you're at the grocery store. You got a little ice on your windshield. Now I'm pull out my Glock and I'm gonna put this ice scraper on and clean off my windshield. Imagine those calls you would get, Scott.
Your neighbors might not like it, but
that's too funny. All right,
tactical, man. That's tactical.
Not something that you'd probably would ever want to really purchase, but interesting to look at and talk about, right?
Paint it black and put tactical on it. It's awesome.
David says pizza slicer. There you go.
Hey, there you go.
Why not?
Hey, Dave, we're coming over for pizza.
Make sure you're not in front of that muzzle while you're cutting the pizza, right? Well, guys, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. This is T4 Survival Live. We're going to be doing a couple other lives throughout the week, and they might be shorter ones where we just pop on, talk a little bit. If there's something that you'd like to have us mention in a segment or talk about in a future segment, please message us through our social media channels. Put them in the comments below. If you're watching this after it's aired live, Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, so you get updates on future training events and live streams that we're going to have. Guys, please be safe out there, eat healthy, and we'll look forward to seeing you online soon for these live streams, or I'll look forward to seeing you online for Krav Maga class. Next class is tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. If you haven't got an email or you're interested in participating, please go to our website, start a chat, send a contact us form for the information on the class for tomorrow night, and I'll make sure to get that to you. Classes will be held online Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Monday and Wednesday nights at 6:30, Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Scott, thank you for joining, man. Be safe this week.
All right, thank you.
We'll see
Guys,
everybody
if you
soon.
can stay home, stay home.
Yeah, stay home and social distancing, and we'll look forward to seeing you online. My name is Jamie on behalf of myself, Scott Allard, and Mike Kahn, who couldn't be with us tonight. Remember, T for Survival, training for surviving the fight of your life. We'll see you soon.